They say writing is a solitary endeavour, alone with your thoughts, your ideas, your fears. It always sounds romantic, doesn't it? The lone writer wrestling with their ideas, trying to find their muse in a quiet room. But it's not always the silence that gets to you. It's more the absence of everything else. Friends always ask me how my writing's going. My colleagues will always wonder when the next book will be done. My family are always asking how many words I've completed in that day. But what they don't see is the time spent staring at an empty page, waiting for the words to come. The hours of silence which are broken only by the scratch of a pen or the tapping of keys. And sometimes you don't even get that. In these moments, it's remarkably easy to feel like you're the only person in the world. Not because you're alone, but because there's a whole world happening out there. And you're in here, inside, trying to make sense of all your thoughts, trying to make sense of all the stories that only you can tell. What's real? What isn't real? What will work? What won't work? What's a good story and what's a bad story? There's a certain kind of loneliness that comes with writing that we have to get used to very early on. It's not the loneliness of being alone in a room. It's the loneliness of knowing that no one else can really understand your struggle. No one else can see the characters that live in your mind. No one else can feel the frustration of a story that just won't come together. We spend so much time with these characters, these imaginary friends I call them. You laugh with them, you cry with them. You live their lives in your mind. But at the end of the day, they're just that, they're just imaginary. And when you look up from the page, the room is empty. There's an almost strange comfort in that solitude. It's like a freedom. You can explore the darkest corners of your mind, ask the most difficult questions, without fear of judgment. It's just you on the page, after all. No one to tell you what you should or shouldn't write. But at the same time, it's a double-edged sword, because in that freedom, you can get lost. Days blend into nights, and sometimes you forget what it's like to be with other people, to have a conversation that's not in your head, to hear anyone, to hear another voice besides your own. But yet, despite the loneliness, we keep writing. Because obviously there's something inside us that needs to be expressed. There's always a story that needs to be told. And for a brief moment, when the words flow and the story takes shape, it feels like we're not alone. Like those characters are real, and we're sharing this journey with them. Then eventually the story has to end at some point. We let the characters fade back into the recesses of our minds, and we're left with silence once more, waiting for the next story to emerge, the next burst of inspiration, and the cycle begins again. So yes, writing is definitely a lonely endeavour. But it's in that loneliness that we find our voice, our truth. And maybe, just maybe, we write to connect, to reach out across the void and touch someone else's soul, to let them know they're not alone, even in their solitude. Because in the end, isn't that what we all want? To be seen, to be heard, to be understood. And through our words, we bridge that gap, if only for a moment. And in that moment, the loneliness fades, and we are truly connected. So, we keep writing. As the sun rises, when the sun is highest in the sky in the afternoon, in the quiet of the night, in the solitude of our rooms, we keep writing because it's the only way we know to fill the silence, to make sense of the chaos of this world, to feel a little less alone. And maybe, just maybe, someone out there might be reading our books. And in that moment, we are together.